Yo,
How we
sure.
doing?
We are good. It's a Saturday Night Live show. Um, yeah, and we had a busy day. So if anyone has joined us already from Roush Creek, welcome. We met some friends today at Roush Creek. They had a well, oh boy, it was dirty. What I had to come home and shower, get some of that Sorka off of me. But it was great, dude. Holy crap. The weather was crappy. It
Mm.
rained, but they muscled through it. But so hello to everybody at Roush. But dude, in typical fashion, it's filled with man drama and bitching. It's too hard. It's too hard. I want to
I
go
mean,
home.
it's Roush Creek. It's not easy. It's not easy in a full size truck.
It correct. It's great terrain. It's a beautiful park.
Yeah.
There is so much to geek out over. But yeah, I think our friend Mr. Riddle might make some enemies with the course he said. He made
With
them
who?
work. Bill Riddle. I think he made them set up there and made them work hard. And AJ brought his A game
Yeah.
um to make them really drive. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
hung out with Mr. Riddle last weekend while he was practicing for this weekend.
got you. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
he was working hard. He drove, he judged, um, and the rest of the
Hardworking man.
crew. Yes,
Hardworking man.
hardworking man. Yeah. Honestly, I think AJ might have talked us into scheduling a trip out to Key City 2 Saturdays from now. Obviously, Key City well, but AJ
Mhm.
was really pushing. All right, when you coming? And I was like, well, I'm whining. It's a 3.5 hour ride. He's like, do you realize I have people make that 3.5 hour ride one way every week after week after
Yep.
week? I'm like, all right, I'll stop
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah. I just
uh,
drove past there on Wednesday,
Past Key City.
hmm
Okay.
coming back from Ohio.
Was that a classified mission or is that cat out of the bag?
Mm, I think it's out of the bag, but
Enough that
yeah.
there's a lot of empty space behind you? Would that be a
Not really. I just moved everything that was in the back room into this room
okay?
because I'm now 40 trucks less in my life.
So something would tell me timing. Timing is everything.
Yeah, I had to downsize to get ready to move, so a lot of stuff had to go, and I got a spider bite on my face for the troubles. Um, Karma,
Was that are you
but
gonna are you gonna shoot webs? What are you
that'd
gonna
be cool. But I don't think so. It just hurts. So,
ouch.
but yeah, yeah, yeah. Kirby, Mike Kirby has a lot of new toys in his collection.
So if I did the math correctly, if Mike Kirby has a lot of new trucks in his collection, if
Hmm.
that adds up, that would mean see him at Beat the Creek.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Grab your wallet and meet him
Yep,
at
and get
Beat.
there early on Friday. Make your deals on Friday.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Ay, ay, ay. Well, it
and,
had to be
and
done. Had to be done.
yeah, and Kirby's collection. Let me just tell you this: I had no idea what I was walking into. I don't think anybody would have an idea of what they're walking into, having never been there or seeing any photos. Holy crap! I mean, thousands of collectible RCs from all generations under one roof.
Man.
Absolutely amazing.
But when I'm envisioning, I've heard the stories. I'm envisioning clutter on back of tractor trailers and chaos. I mean,
No,
when you talk collection, are they assembled on display in
I,
boxes?
I wouldn't I wouldn't call it a museum or curated, but that man knows where everything's at in that building, in that facility, because
Okay.
old buildings. but it's he knows where everything is, and he can
Okay.
tell you exactly where. Like when he looks at a truck, you can just see the memories flood back through his face, and he can just recite whose it was, where it came from, and its entire lineage, and do that thousands of times over. It it was it was pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't wait till we get a little further into the show. I know you've been a busy, busy beaver with the Zill. The all AWB, we're calling it Boom Racing's adjustable wheelbase.
Yep.
So you've got photos. It looks like you ran a classified mission. From the photos I've seen of it, it's been at the Illuminati of scale.
Yep.
My it, I can tell by some of the backdrops it photographed
Yep.
just like a boom truck would. Um, I'm excited to dig into some of the specs.
Yep.
Yes, I know. Let me hear you say it. You need to watch my content during the week. Yes, because
Yeah.
there is a YouTube, probably full blowout on your YouTube at Ease RC during the week. Yes, we know you work hard. But
Yep.
here we get to go live and dive a
Yeah.
little deeper and ask the
Yeah.
questions I want to
And
know.
the Q&A part. That's the important part of the
Yes,
live. Let's get to ask some
let these
questions.
people, what is it that you didn't tell us that we
Yep.
need to know? Like, I wanted to know Engine Bay.
Hmm.
Your answer was interesting. Not yet, but coming
Exactly.
soon. So
Not yet.
we might not get the answer you want. There's Matt, one of the hardest working men I've ever
Yeah.
met. That guy. Matt, I got some behind the scenes footage today from Rouse Creek to share a little bit. We'll pull that up. But I did get a chance to spread the word while we were fluttering around Rouse Creek and harassing and cheering on all the competitors. I was sharing the word about our friend joining us this evening. Leaf, Life, Leaf Life. There's probably a tomato proper pronunciation for this, but if you want to take the easy way out and the cheeky, funny way, Leaf the Leaf guy, it's just goes, it just works. Leaf the Leaf guy. Uh yeah, this is why we do the show. This is breaking down algorithms. This is branching
Yep.
into networks of people I wouldn't have necessarily stumbled across. And I did think it was kind of cool, like talking to people at Roush, like, oh yeah, Merchant Metal Fab. I got him for my SCX6. And last thing I'll share about Roush Creek, and I'll shut up. They did X-rated dirty things to those SCX6s at this event. Um,
A little torture, huh?
my goodness, these guys are wheeling the crap out of these big beasts. Now, I'm like, so is this happening at Key City? No, it's not set up there for this. So this is their chance to come here and flex the big boys. And holy crap, it is so cool watching them do stuff I've never seen an SCX6 do before. So very cool. And the
Yeah.
room is there. It's a
Yeah.
1-to-1 park. So bravo
Tons
to
of
those
room.
guys. I don't know if it was like in a official sanctioned. I don't know if there's a trophy for what they were doing. Yeah, maybe there had to be because it was
Yeah, it's a
deemed.
class. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there were judges there and they were
Hmm.
in between the laughing and the swearing, they were,
Yeah.
trying and yeah, very, very cool.
Yep. Yep.
Oh
We
boy.
got catch up on some comments here.
Yeah, do that. I saw a
Matt
couple sudden.
Matt said that you went home and got some E6000 to make your tires sticky.
Of course. I don't leave home without it.
Justin said he wants to get to Key City like 5 hours. It's worth the trip. Just make sure it's a big event and you stay overnight and do it for 2 days if it's a 5-hour trip. It's going to be a blast. First time going. I assume that's Beat the Creek.
Yes, I think that's Justin talking about Beat the Creek. I know he
Yeah.
is stoked.
Yeah. And did we see the car truck, the 1/6 scale? Yes. I've seen that. And those 6 scale cross
Oh.
trucks are 6 scale. Like they're Yeah,
I
they're gonna
I
be cool.
saw them drop on one of Scale News Update recent
Mhm.
shows like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah, I
Maybe I
think
could be
like 2 weeks
slightly
ago or something.
I might
Yeah,
be off a little bit here on my
yeah,
timeline, but, Josh did have a sneak peek on it because there was not a lot of disclosed info on price or such, or,
yeah.
has any of that come out yet? I mean, is
I
Cross
I don't know cost, but the trucks are massive, and they did change the name because they were the Max and the Max XL,
oh,
and they got a letter, and then they
I
they changed it. So,
that
apparently, the change didn't impact packaging.
okay, good, good.
So
They didn't
I
make the
guess they
FMS fail.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't call things Max, especially with 2 X's.
You gotta learn.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh,
And Chad wants to know if you're gonna have bags at Beat the Creek.
as a matter of fact, that was a last minute thing that we were not planning on doing. Now, and I don't know what happened today. I was saying on the car ride home, I need to go snoop back through the internet and see if anything dropped because bags were selling like crazy while we were away. It was like every minute Shopify just bing, bing. I'm like, I'm
S
not near my phone to really
Spring
see
is
it.
in the air, my friends.
Something,
Spring.
maybe if it's that simple and there was nothing else to it,
Yeah,
sometimes I can link it back to something.
yeah.
You know, somebody made a post, somebody did something.
Mhm.
That being said, we did get pushed to do a couple to head out there. We're going to send them directly to Joe. We'll get them to the farm. We'll have someone there pick them up from him and get them
Okay.
crawler colt, or there will be a booth announcement where they will be a small handful. Obviously, if you are thinking about it, I would please let us know ahead of time. At the very least, if you want a vinyl wrap that is specific, it makes our life 1,000 times easier if we're slapping the vinyl wrap on that you want. Now, obviously, we will be mainly doing the Beat the Creek bag. That's how they're going down there, Beat the Creek edition, and we'll throw it, vinyl wraps are always available down the line if you ever
Mhm.
wanna swap them out, that's simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Alright,
mean, there's quite a few possibilities. We can discuss it later on who can vend your bags,
that'd be
but
great, yeah, if you
yeah,
guys have a chance,
yeah,
to help out, but I know you're gonna be busy, Scaltra's gonna be probably popping down there,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, I'll
sure
be there.
Jason
Yeah, I'll be there for boom racing, Scaltra, running around the Reefs booth. All of my inventory for my store will be sold through K&K.
bingo,
So
great idea.
Terrabugs, um, the
Buy
um,
an optic and grab your
Punisher. Yeah, buy an optic, get a super great deal on an optic, and buy a panel set. Beat the hell out of the panel set that came on it, or the one that you buy. Take home, clean it all up, put the other panel set on it, make it beautiful again.
hey,
Um,
perfect.
but I did have an addition to my stock that I'm catching up on now, which are the Porigen hoods
Oh,
from Jersey Scaler.
yes, I've
So
been seeing these pop up.
yeah, so I got them in like bright orange. I got the vented, the non-vented with the door panels. Um, so doing some of those because
What was the name of them? New Jersey?
it, it's Jersey Scaler
Jersey Scaler,
on
okay,
IG.
okay. I've got it
He sells the file on cults. So I spoke to him, and he's good with me selling them. So it's yeah,
Colts
pretty cool.
Colts 3D. I think I stumbled across him. He has a
Mhm.
few other
Well,
things on his
yeah,
Colt.
Cults 3D and Umagine. I actually purchased it off of Umagine.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but
Well,
yeah, they're
we're gonna
nice.
have fun. I just wrote down the Jersey Scaler one. I've got my pen and paper ready because I know our guest is gonna come shooting and blazing at us.
Hmm.
NW Scaler, Twisted Fab. I mean, this guy's gonna rattle some stuff off, which is
Yep,
all very cool because I'm not super familiar with all the stuff that he's collaborating with. So I'm excited to let him tell us a little bit more about what they're doing. So
yep. Bring him
without
in.
further ado, Leif, make yourself presentable. This is your last minute warning. We're going to slide into an official
Like
transition.
you don't have to be at parade rest. We get it. Like you can relax.
Relax.
Relax. He looks like he's
All
statuing.
tensed up.
Yeah.
All right, let's give you an official quick transition. When we come back, we will have him here.
Ground control, we're loaded and ready to taxi.
Flight 209, you are cleared for takeoff.
So close.
So close. I've given up.
So close.
We've given you center stage, my friend.
Thank you.
With center stage, we will let you kind of give us the who you are out of the gate. And because not everybody knows who you are, I'm going to have to take full credit for that one. But there are plenty of fans out there. So give us the official who you are and where to find you.
So I am Leif Merchant. I am Leif the Leaf guy. You know, it actually started out, I started out just doing metal fabrication, cage building, bumpers, stuff like that. And I was really doing it just as a labor of love, right? I absolutely love welding and I love putting these things together. And it wasn't until JEC, Jay Wallace, was transitioning out of the leaf spring industry that I kind of had some shoes to fill there. And so with some guidance from, a good friend of mine, Harold Abrams, Twisted Fab Co., Corwin with Northwest Scalar Designs, we all kind of worked pretty closely together to try and keep the leaf spring industry alive, because without JEC and his leaf mounts, we weren't really sure about the future of leaf springs. So it was just kind of not exactly where I had imagined going, but that's where I am now, and I'm having a blast. I love it. It's been a great experience, this whole journey.
10-4. And that's what we like, is small business helping small business. You guys supporting each other. I like this little collab here. Twisted Fab Co. and Northwest Scalar Design. And you guys do not hold any punches or keep any behind the curtain secrets. It's out in the open that you three are working together. This is the thing.
Totally.
Okay.
And that's got to be good, because you're all bringing a piece to the puzzle, so to speak.
Right. And that's kind of it's definitely a group effort, and without each other, we are, I'm not going to say surely doomed, but without each other, with each other, we're so much stronger, right? And we all kind of bring our own part to this leaf spring industry, where, you know, like I have zero interest in making handmade leaf springs. That's just not my thing. I'm not tooled and equipped for it. But you know, Casey with Twisted Fab, he is just on point with those leaf springs, man. And they are, it's incredible. Actually, I have something to show you. These are a set of his SCX6 leaf springs. These ones came off of my personal SCX6, and he's just he military wraps it. He's got double wraps on the eyes with bushing material inside there. There's just a hair bit of chino mod to the front end only, where you can see that just slight bit of taper. I mean, these things are the bee's knees, and you would be shocked seeing some of his videos running the SCX6 and just beating on it with these leaf springs. But so, you know, we all kind of bring our own little piece to the pie, right?
Yeah, but just saying the words SCX6 on leaf springs, like I don't know how many people in this group, or you know, that follow my channel or Mike's channel or whatever, have ever seen an SCX 61 Leaf. So I know I haven't driven one, and I would love to, and I can imagine it. But that is a mouthful of scaleness right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Needless to say, it was also a very, very big undertaking.
I bet.
Because, and no pun intended.
I was getting ready to say that. Yeah.
With the 10 scale stuff, I mean, it's relatively easy to come up with the designs and to have, some fresh ideas for it, because you have a point of reference, right? You have the TF2, you have existing leaf mounts already that you're basically just kind of following a script. Now, Northwest Scalar Designs, Corwin just kind of blew us all away when he came out with the narrow leaf system. And that was kind of, that was a big risk, because you're innovating in a way that makes it not compatible with anything else, right? It's all proprietary, because you're moving the leaf springs in 5 millimeters on each side, so 10 millimeter difference in spacing. Now you have to have a new chassis, you have to have a new type of leaf mount design, you have to have, it'll use the same leaf springs, right? And it'll use the same profile of chassis rail. It's just a shorter skid and DSM, but you are relying on someone else to help you innovate. And that was right around the time that JEC was leaving. And so that was a really big risk for Northwest Scalar Designs, but it paid off big time, because that is a competition level leaf spring chassis. And a big part of it was being able to get your full steering lock, or full lock on your steering, with an AR44 style axle. And that was, I mean, yeah, love it. Yeah.
Because that's always been the challenge with Leaf is trying to get the steering angle, right. Because you're always going to fight a tire into the spring. Right. So to solve that is, very, very innovative.
Yeah. And beyond that, there was a lot of stuff that came up that kind of turned out to be happy little accidents. Like, one part of it is that now that you've moved your leaf springs inward, you now have more leverage on the leaf spring, so you can get more flexibility. You have so more range of motion. You throw some longer shackles on there too, and you get even more range of motion. So there's a lot of things that I think I'm actually really shocked that some of these other companies haven't really caught on to, like, what you can do with a leaf spring truck. You see the TF2 and no offense, I know the ZIL just came out, but I'm looking at it, man, and those shackles are like this big. And so it's like there are some things that I see about it from a design standpoint that I'm just like, I'm already excited to start making parts for it.
And that's the important part.
Right.
The base chassis of the new BRX-01 AWB is, they took all of the ingenuity and all the innovation that they put into the BRX-02 and put it into the 01 chassis with an adjustable wheelbase. So there is a ton of room for this thing to get your treatment, new hangers, new ways to articulate it, which is what they want. Right. They want this truck to get into the scale truck hands, the comp hands, and you can take the ZIL body or leave it. I absolutely know for a fact that the TF2, the Mojave body set, fits on this chassis beautifully. It's flat rails. There's no shock hoops. There's none of that stuff. So seeing other bodies on this truck and it going into the comp world is absolutely one of the goals of this chassis.
Totally. Yeah. And that's like providing a platform, right, to build from has always been really has always been like kind of the ideal, right? Because you want the innovators in the hobby to come at you with some new stuff, because there's only so many things you can think of, right? There's only so many things. And so when you have a community of people that love to customize, just let them do it. Give them a good platform to build from, and then they will take the rest, right?
Yep. And with this platform, I'm looking at it because it's sitting right beside me. But the belly height is insane. Like
Yeah.
there is nothing hanging below the skids, and it's prime for, you know, making a comp truck out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
In typical boom fashion, like the AWDB is no different than any other boom truck. The ones that were at this event today, you can tell have been driven. And I think that's what makes this super exciting is, Leif, you can come in here, do your thing to it, and it's meant to be driven. And if Sorka Whispering, when their living rule set does something for next year, giving it a class, there is, all this opportunity to take
So
that starting block and go crazy.
Mhm.
I haven't heard anything about that. Can you fill me in a little bit?
I think all we can do is leave it this way and say it's a living rule set.
Sorry.
No, wait, we're gonna play so fair here. A living rule set means nothing or means everything. There's always an opportunity for change. And I have heard whispers that they are working on making a class for Leaf. No, I mean, I don't think that's any secret. It's not
Yeah.
official, but they are working. Their goal
Yeah,
is to have a Leaf class, and I think it's getting close.
and I mean, I've heard similar rumblings, basically like a class 0.
Right.
So to bring back an official rule set to that unofficial class 0, performance scale genre of these trucks. Yeah, that'll be another show another time. But as people want scale back into Sorka, like that, it makes sense. And if they're listening and they're seriously doing that, then that'll be a game changer for people like you and the chassis makers and spring makers, and it'll just drive that really, really hard.
Yeah, I am all for it. I love, and I came from before I started doing the leaf spring thing. I actually came from Sorka Class 3 crawling, and that like rear wheel steering, still scale, right? But 4-wheel steering and LCG and all the hot words and everything. I had a lot of fun, right? I got my first leaf rig, which was a Northwest Scale Designs limited run Hanyaker number 10. And, I had a lot of fun with that truck. And then I got hooked up with Twisted Fabco, and he made me a set of real leaf springs for it. And from that point, I was just hooked on the leaf spring industry. From that point, I drove, that thing was my go-to truck forever until somebody offered me more than I could refuse to take, and I sold it to a buddy in New Jersey, and he still has it now, and still to this day I regret letting it go. But it was actually kind of a stepping stone to getting into the rest of these things.
Yeah. And where are you located again?
So I am on, just to put it into perspective, when people say they're in the Pacific Northwest, I am so far in the Pacific Northwest. Yesterday I went to the beach and I was looking at Canada. That's how far north and west I am.
Okay. That's pretty far.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Jay Kendall from SOR might have been the only other person I would have known like in that area. Are you close to SOR by any chance?
He lives about 10 minutes away from me. He's 10 minutes south of me.
Okay.
And what's funny is I've actually purchased products from SOR Racing years ago. We live 15 minutes away from each other. I've never actually met the guy in person. And so, we actually, I connected with him. I've been really getting into the element rigs lately. I've already made leaf spring conversion kits for 3 of them. And we're actually going to get hooked up and go crawling here in a few days and talk about maybe doing a 12th scale leaf spring truck for the Bushido 12.
Oh, wow.
And I'm kind of excited for that one because, this whole time. Oh, go ahead.
You should be, because that's a ultra scale. That 12 scale Bushido is way better than their other big one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will agree.
Deserves a leaf spring setup.
Yeah,
Totally.
that 12th scale Bushido is actually a 10th scale
Bingo.
compared to the other 10 scale trucks.
Yeah, it's more like a 8th or something. I mean, you can
Yeah.
see it next to the Bronco here. That's a big Samurai.
That's a big Samurai.
It is.
So, and the other part that excites me about it is that, when I design these leaf conversion kits, I'm designing them around a stock leaf spring, something that you can buy off Amazon. And I do that because, with Twisted Fabco is very busy and he's, weeks out on orders. And so I want these kits to be available and ready to run for everyone at a moment's notice. So I base them on a stock leaf spring. And now if I take that platform or take that leaf spring and put it on a 12th scale rig, it is now a long leaf spring. It is a huge leaf spring for a small truck. So it's going to be pretty advantageous to have that size leaf spring. I am still unsure of some of my dimensions on the front end of the chassis, but we'll make it work.
Yep. Well, I mean, we've been moving shackles on Samurais to the bumper for eons, running YJ springs. So it's not uncommon to see. It's not uncommon to see, shackle mounts on the front bumpers. So.
And Jeremy, I think your YouTube kind of got a launch from putting leaf springs on trucks first. The FMS one I'm referring to, that putting the leaf spring on the FJ40 out of the gate was a smart move. So you've been doing leaves for a while. I knew tonight was going to get you to perk up. This is cool.
Leaf spring the world, baby. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
But
I just love the way they move, the natural movement, and it's an honest movement. If you've ever driven a 1-1 on Leafs, like, what those sounds are, what those creaks are, if it's a good one or a bad one, what that feel is, when you get a good hanger pop and lock, like, instantly what that is and what you have to do to fix it by driving it, not working on it. Right. So it's I love leaf springs on rigs.
I found his Instagram page here. I don't know how up to date this is, but I got some things flexing here from the Element world. Obviously this is what you must be referring to, one of them. I mean,
yes, yeah, that's the latest one, the Element Sendero HD. I literally just today got all of the kits prepped and shipped, and so it's very, very new, very fresh. The Bushido and the Sendero actually share the same front end, so those parts are intermingling. But really, it's the rear end that changes between the Sendero and the Night Runner and the Bushido.
Yes, the Night Runner, a lot of that's IFS up there. So would you do IFS up front with the leaf in the rear? Is that your goal?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly how it's set up.
Perfect.
Like a real one.
Excellent. And I can tell you, I did a little homework today. Your CJ is so ultra scale. I had a 1-to-1 CJ. I don't know if I got good photos of it or not, but just seeing it, I'm like, holy crap, it's spot on.
There it is. Yeah, that was actually, so the CJ7 is kind of where the leaf spring conversions all started. And it started with the 410 kit and Twisted Fab, right? He had a leaf spring conversion kit for the Vanquish 410. And that was it was legendary. It was awesome. And people loved it. And after he and I started working really closely together, people were actually getting us confused. And so they would come to me looking for a 410 conversion kit. And I'm like, hey man, that's not me. That's Twisted Fab. You'll have to message him. Until one guy who, again, got us confused, came to me and asked if I would do a conversion kit for a TRX4. And I was like, I could, but I don't think that I'm going to, because that's Twisted Fab's thing. If he wants to make one, then great. And then I actually talked to him about it a few days later. I was like, hey, would you ever do a conversion kit for a TRX4? And he's like, no, that's not my thing. But you could, and I will share with you all of my secrets on how to make this conversion kit. But don't do it to the TRX4. Do it to the CJ7, because it looks like it needs leaf springs, right? And that's kind of what dawned on this side of it, right? His Vanquish 410 long leaf kit, that is a ridiculous performance platform, my goodness. But what I'm doing here is I'm giving it a scale driving experience and something that's more period correct, right? So the CJ7 kicked it off, and then we moved on to what was the next one after? Actually, the next one was the TRX4 Bronco, because after completing that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for my homie that wants the conversion kit. So I did the Bronco next. The next I got into the Element platform, and that one is actually kind of taken off a little bit because of its variability. But basically, what I'm wanting to do is create a realistic driving experience, something that's more period correct. I don't want to just grab any RC and throw leaf springs on it, because that's not the goal here. If I had people asking me for a long time to do one for the 10.2, the Axial 10.2, but the only ready to run 10.2 they sell anymore is the Deadbolt. And I just was like, not really thinking that doesn't need leaf springs. It doesn't look like it does anyway. But I did get convinced to make a 10.2 kit, and I ended up making a conversion kit for the 6x6 Unimog. It's now on leaf springs, and those kits are due to arrive on Monday, I believe, is when they land. Monday or Tuesday.
So is that like a walking beam style, or how did you do leaf for both rear axles?
I actually got really lucky with that. So my original idea was to do one for the 4x4 Mog, and I ended up stumbling upon the 6x6, and I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do one for one, they're going to share the same front end because the links are the same, and then I'll just work on the 6x6 later. As it would turn out, I ended up working on the 6x6 first because I needed to paint the 4x4 body. I found out that the wheelbase from the front axle to the center axle is the same as the 10.2 4x4 Unimog. So when I designed the rear end, there we go. It's all right there. That is the 4x4 kit on the 6x6. And then the cherry on top was that when they made their rail extensions, it's just a repeating bolt pattern. And there was enough room. There was literally a 1/4 inch of space between the swing shackle on the rear and the swing shackle on the mid axle and the pivot hanger on the rear axle. And so I literally was able to take a repeated design, take these parts, put the exact same parts behind it, the wheelbase lined up, there was no clearance issues. It literally took days out of my design process to design one front end and one rear end and then have it repeat. And so I was able to design the kit for both trucks with just the one.
Wow.
And
well,
hey,
happy accident.
Happy accident. No, it's not even impressive, man. That was just a happy little accident. Thank you, Axial. You helped me out there. But yeah, so this is actually I'll grab it.
Yeah, you can see this kit, Jeremy. It's pretty intense.
I'm looking at it. Yeah,
it's got it all.
Wow.
And then
and I know a lot of people are saying this in the back of their heads. So typically when you think of Leaf truck, you're thinking of you need weight to
Yes.
articulate. So how do you compensate for that, or do you design the factor in for these Lexan bodies? Because we've all seen the RC 4-wheel drive disaster FJ, where it's like a stick. It doesn't do anything because it's a Lexan body, but you throw a hard body on it and it does what they think it's intended to do. But how do you get past that for Lexan?
So you can do it with a standard leaf spring, but Twisted Fabco makes a stage 3 leaf spring that is basically it's 3 leaves in a compound spring that they're all very weak material, but together they're strong enough to hold the Lexan body, but give enough flex having 3 springs instead of 1. But you can do it with a standard leaf spring, and it actually has more to do with the shackle placement than it does the actual leaf spring itself or the weight of the body. If you'll notice on the rear end here, this is about ride height, but the shackle is at an angle there, right? And a lot of the factory ones, I'm seeing them standing straight up, which means you are literally relying 100% on the leaf spring to get any articulation. And so, that's part of it that helps. And then I put as much weight on the wheels and axles as I can. And there's differing opinions on that. That's where, Twisted Fabco and I have a little bit of differing opinion. He likes to put a lot of weight on the chassis, and that helps kind of get things to move a little bit, a lot more.
Yeah.
Northwest Scale Designs, he likes both. And for me, because it might just because I came from the C3 world, it's just as little weight on the chassis as possible and break the axles as much as possible. And, I think we're all able to meet what we need using our own methods. And that's kind of what's awesome about the leaf spring world, is that there is just so many ways that you can build these trucks and build them successfully. But because it's so new, and I won't say new, because obviously it's been around for a long time. People have been, even Devlin Shipley's been making Delrin leaf springs back in 2012, right?
Yep.
But it's still kind of like a magic market, and so there's a lot of advice that people are looking for, and we all do our best to try and share as much information as we can to get people driving really good leaf spring trucks, right? And being able to give that to the hobbyists and being able to be on kind of that cutting edge has been awesome, to say the least.
Yeah. And even in the full size world, I mean, there's that same differing opinion of tire weight versus chassis weight versus body style. I mean, you look at a CJ2A or versus a CJ5 versus a YJ, all completely different ways out of one company. All completely different ways to do it, and it's 3 completely different driving styles.
Right.
So a soft leaf pack might work for a certain driver, and another driver it might be a terrible mess, and they may prefer a different approach
totally
to weighted wheel or weighted chassis, or how they want it to actually look and feel in their mind.
Right.
So there's no right and wrong answer on that.
Yeah.
Well, question, because I feel like you're talking both over my head here. Would you be referring one of the tips? Are you talking about sharing tips with people on what would make the Leaf perform better? Because would that be where somebody told me, when you get a new truck with leaves, just as you're sitting there watching TV, just keep pressing on it. You're trying to work and loosen the leaves. Is that kind of where you're getting with sharing tips with people to get them to perform better? You want to work them in and just keep working them.
Yeah, totally. That, or just driving it. There's
just drive it.
There's there's a lot of different like tips and tricks and things that you can do, and a lot of things that you just don't think about until somebody tells you to. Like, perfect example, right? One of the number one complaints that I get with people that are, you know, running leaf springs is that, hey, my steering radius sucks. Right, or maybe not even my steering radius, but my steering servo just feels like my steering seems weaker with a leaf spring. And that's true in some cases, right? You can do things to bulk up your steering and like put bushings inside the eyelets and to make sure all of your hardware attaching your leaf springs is super tight. You can do stuff like that to make your steering better, but you're also sacrificing your mobility, your flexibility, and your range of motion when you do stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's like a double-edged sword where you give a little here, you take a little there, and you find the right setup for you and what your drive style is. Me personally, I love to film these things without shocks, without anti-wrap, on a single leaf, and just bounce around. And when you film it in slow motion, and it just looks so real. It looks so cool. And every time I take one of these things out and get some footage, I probably spend more time just sitting on my phone watching through these videos than I do actually driving them. And that's the part that I like. And then there are other guys that they want to take their leaf rigs. Dude, I've got this guy, he is on his third or fourth set of rear leaf mounts because he bashes on this truck so hard. And that's his drive style. And so for somebody like him, yes, run an anti-wrap. Yes, run the helper springs. Yes, tighten the F out of those bolts to keep your steering stiff, right? And that's just difference of drive style, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that is fantastic. And you went through the portfolio of what you've been doing, kind of what you've been working on. Is there anything else like down the pipeline, or really is it focused on the inventory you got right now without burdening yourself with a bigger to-do list?
That's going to depend on the industry, you know.
Okay.
With the ZIL coming out, I'm sure I'll be making parts for that. The Bushido 12, that's going to be coming up pretty soon here too. As soon as Jay and I get a chance to link up and maybe share some insight on some stuff, then I would love to take on that project.
Great idea.
And then there's also re-innovating on some of my old projects. Like, for example, the CJ7 was my very first kit. And I used to handwrite all the locations and stuff on the actual mount so that people knew where they went. And what I started doing later was actually having them in the design, like printed on the mount, so you can't miss it, right? And I can't forget to write it. But I think that there's a lot of work left to do on these, right? That the Leaf kit on the SCX6 that Derek just now brought up, you know, that's brand new. That we still have a whole community of hobbyists that are going to have new ideas, that are going to have innovations that they want to see. You know, that even while building it myself, I thought I had it right, and then it turns out, hey, if we move the rear axle a half inch back, then we get a better look. We get a more centered profile on the leaf spring. It turned out to be just work all sorts of magic just by doing that one move. We just had to move one bolt hole, you know? So there's a lot of stuff that, you know, I think that these rigs, these trucks, they still need attention, you know? I've created a baseline platform for people to create from, and I'm waiting for feedback so I can make them better. That's always been my goal and will always continue to be my goal, is to make the best product possible.
And it's fantastic that you take the feedback.
Thank you.
And it's, you know, I see a lot of people in RC, you know, the bigger the company gets, the less they talk to their customer, which makes no sense. I don't know how that works, but yeah, never lose your customer and always listen. They're not right, but listen.
Yeah. Well, you know what? As long as they're the ones with the wallet, they're right.
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree, yes. To a degree. But, you know, and I think so I have a disadvantage, but I have an advantage. I don't come from one-to-one crawling. That's not that I have owned some off-road trucks. I have owned a few different, Ford F-150s and Rangers and stuff like that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
One of the only like real off-road like crazy trucks I had a 79 79 Chevy Malibu on a K5 Blazer frame.
Okay.
And that was
that's how I can confirm you're from the far northwest.
Dude, it was all white with blue flames and T-tops, man. That thing was wild. But I don't necessarily come from that world, right? I come from like I was a COVID hobbyist. I quit drinking the December before COVID hit, and then I was sober for COVID, and I needed something to do. So I got into the hobby. And so I'm really new to all this stuff. I have to take people's advice. I have to take people's input because I just haven't been around the block. So, while it might seem like a disadvantage to have this much knowledge of what I'm doing, it's actually a huge advantage because I can really absorb different opinions from not only the people that sponsor me, but also the people that give me their money, right? Yeah. And so it has actually been a really big help.
Yeah, I mean, in the late 1900s, we were putting, we were doing three-quarter elliptical, quarter elliptical, combo sets with shackles on top of the axle tube, the whole, following the one-to-one world of that time. So, it kind of came around and then it went away because there was no support for it. Like these were custom handmade, in a garage, three-quarter elliptical setups that worked fantastically, but the time it took to build them and there was no way to share it or sell it. I mean, rccrawler.com. I mean, if you were on there in the late 1900s, early 2000s, it was, it was a battleground. People were making really cool stuff in their garage, but you couldn't reproduce it.
Right. And that's where, as I was saying, it's really important that we, as not only hobbyists that have ideas and a passion for what we're doing, but also as business owners and cohorts, we really rely a lot on each other, and none of us would really be where we're at without each other. And I really appreciate all the help I've gotten, and I feel honored to be able to help these other guys too, because if nobody would have filled JEC's shoes, I mean, he sold all of his stuff to Power Hobby, and they're doing their thing. But they, as far as I know, they don't really plan on innovating. They don't really plan on making new stuff. They're just gonna keep selling what's existing. So when Ot6 comes out with the new TKO 10 axle, who's gonna make leaf mounts for it?
Yeah,
this guy.
There you
go. So.
It sounds like you're doing it right, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're tuned in. You'll do well.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And hopefully, so I may end up going back to work, and that'll slow down the metal fab portion of what I'm doing, but it won't slow down the website or the innovation or any of that, because I can still cook on that stuff in my brain. I can still fulfill orders before I go to work. It'll really just be the cage building that kind of takes a hit there. But I do not plan on going anywhere, man. I'm having way too much fun.
Oh, Matt threw a curveball at you.
What was that?
Leaf mounts for the Helaman.
Ooh, so I've had people ask me, believe it or not, just yesterday, a friend of mine asked if I would do a leaf spring conversion kit for his H10 Origin.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I can do it. I would be happy to. The issue that I see is that when you are designing a leaf spring system, you have to figure that you have a front hanger for your leaf spring, and usually that's going to be beyond the front tire, right? So I could make a leaf spring system for the Helaman and have a hanger system that comes way off the front end of that thing, and it would work. It would be functional, but I don't know that it's going to be ideal for the people that are driving one of those, like a buggy style rig, right? The advantage to the buggy style rigs is that you have all axle in front of you.
Yeah.
You could do like a half elliptical or three-quarter elliptical.
Three-quarter ellipticals. Yeah.
And you know, it could work, right? There's the possibility is there, but I'll have to do some serious brain work on it because it's just not traditional, you know.
Or sometimes you just say no. It could be that.
Well,
I mean, believe it or not, that is the most difficult word to come out of my mouth unless you're one of my kids.
Yeah, you're well educated, my man. Yeah, three-quarter elliptical is the only way to do buggies that I've ever seen in the 1-1 world. And there's limited success there, and there's a reason you don't see them a lot.
Right. And where I kind of struggle with three-quarter elliptical is at what point is it just a trailing arm?
Yeah.
You know, because you basically have a trailing arm that's just mounted differently. Now, I'm not saying that it couldn't work. I'm just saying that it's not. I don't feel like that's really innovating for what I do. I've seen people do like buggy style leaves. Those are great. That's awesome for
the cross,
rear end. Right, exactly.
Cross style. Yeah.
I've even seen people do inverse leaf springs where your leaf spring actually springs up. You are still leaf over, but now it's all droop, right? And you're springing back up. That's pretty cool. That's innovative, but it's definitely, you have to design a very different chassis for something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise you have a rat rod.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the, you know, Corvettes and, you know, of the 70s had that buggy style spring. And there's a reason that they don't do it anymore, but it worked. It does work.
So actually, speaking of the rat rod world, one thing I have been really wanting, I've been exciting about, it's been bubbling in the back of my head, is finding a way to do slappers. Instead of an anti-wrap system where you have a rod, a connecting rod, or basically a traction bar, going into like a slapper type situation. The one trouble I'm having with that is at what length is it universal to where it's not going to bind when on your droop, right? It'll be fine on your up travel, but when you come back down, that steel rod is going to hold on the inside of your spring and not let you get your full suspension cycle.
Yeah, that I don't know if you could do that universal. There's a lot of math right there. I mean, even in drag world, that's a lot of math to figure that out. I mean, that's Oof.
Well, so far the RC world has been very forgiving for two reasons. One, because nobody's lives are in my hands. I have a lot of freedom to just throw something on an RC car and try it out, right? But the other thing is the ability to 3D print has just been, I can't even, like, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without my 3D printers, right?
Yeah.
Prototype something very quickly, test it. You're getting something out in the R&D very quickly now.
Yes. Yeah. When I design leaf mounts, I'm designing them like probably 20 minutes of design time, 5 minutes or 5 or 10 minutes of print time, and then boom, I have a product in my hand. And I come up with probably a lot of them. I have like 12, 13, 15 revisions that I start with the basic shape. I start hacking away at it. I start adding to it. And I have like 12 or 13 revisions in one day. And then, boom, it's so fast for me to be able to just go from an idea to reality and put it into practice. And then boom, wham, bam, thank you, man. Actually, the SCX 10.2 leaf conversion kit, I did the leaf mounts and all of the hangers in one day. I designed the entire kit in one day.
Well, that's a day more than RC 4-wheel drive put into their effort. I'm not being hard on them, but man, that was crap.
I hear you. Oh man.
Yeah,
So on that
Mike
note,
told you about me, right?
on that note, I'm gonna shut Jeremy up and tell him to start the time clock. I got some Jeopardy music keyed up here. This is the segment called This and That. Leif, if you have not been prepped, it's simple. It's rapid fire. We need no explanation, just two examples, Samsung or iPhone. You tell us one or the other. Jeremy's the one keeping score. Are you prepared to play, my friend?
Absolutely.
All right. Hang on. I'm not making it that loud. Stand by.
You got to do the sample question.
That sample one I've gotten tripped up a few times. I said as a sample, we throw out two samples, this and that. We'll give you an example: reef or shift.
Don't answer it. Don't answer it. Don't answer
The trip up is seeing how many people jump in and let it rip. They come out holstered, letting it fire, telling everybody who they picked first. But we
I'm gonna
don't
tell
need
you
to
what,
know that.
I have never met a community as cutthroat and passionate
As the
the
servo
Servo
wars,
community. Holy mother of God, they are intense.
I heard a little rumor today. Beat the Creek. I think there will be a new Servo War shirt being dropped. So last year, being May the 4th, they had Servo Wars. I don't know if they disclosed what the new shirt says, but I promise you it's tied to part 2 of Star Wars. So it's great. All in good fun. We all love the Servo guys. That's hysterical. Sliding into this and that, we will start with question 1. Samsung or Apple? Or Samsung or iPhone, I'm sorry.
Samsung, for sure.
Sam. Really? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he's Leaf Spring, so
You know why I say that? Because I'm on a Mac right now, and I had to reinstall Chrome just so I could use the StreamYard.
Call or text?
Text.
East Coast or West?
West.
Army or Navy?
Navy.
Cocoa or Fruity Pebbles?
Fruity Pebbles.
The Flintstones or the Jetsons?
Flintstones.
Ranch or blue cheese?
Blue cheese.
F. Sorka or yeah, Sorka?
F. Sorka.
Go to church or go to a bar?
Church.
Twix or Snickers?
Snickers.
Rattle can or airbrush?
Rattle can.
Autobot or Decepticon?
Autobot.
Pizza or Chinese food?
Chinese.
Yeah. Christmas or Halloween?
Christmas.
Do you like a rust bucket or bring the bling?
Rust bucket.
Slot machines or blackjack?
Blackjack.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Ketchup or mustard?
Mustard.
Jeep or truck?
Truck.
Jack it up or slam it down?
Jack it up.
All right. Win the lottery or meet your soulmate?
Win the lottery. I already met my soulmate.
Bingo. There's your Hallmark card. Getting lucky tonight. Flat rail or sea channel?
Flat rail.
Hunting or fishing?
Neither.
Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Action movie or comedy?
Comedy.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Oh, Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
More likely to get a speeding or a parking ticket?
Speeding for sure.
Okay. Uh,
Like a nerve.
Are we going on history or future predictions here?
oh, let's see. Would you rather meet yourself 10 years in the future or 10 years in the past?
10 years in the past.
UFO or Bigfoot?
Bigfoot.
Air guitar or air drums?
Guitar.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
BMX or skateboard?
Skateboard.
And what else? We got Crocs or flip-flops?
Crocs.
Are you a half empty or half full kind of guy?
Half full, for sure.
All right. Monster truck or NASCAR?
Monster truck.
X Games or Olympics?
X Games.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Pez or Nerds?
Pez.
Turbo or Nitro?
Turbo.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Get up and dance or sit this one out?
Sit this one out.
All right. You survived the game of this and that. What we're going to do now is a quick high five. And all I need from you is one RC car for the rest of your life. What would you choose?
The one I built.
What kind of bonus points are we getting for that? Oh my goodness.
Top
Great.
of the chart
Here,
right there.
I'll show you.
The one
Man,
I built. I love that.
I'm glad I'm not judging.
A Winnie.
Yeah, if I could drive one RC car for the rest of my life, it would be this thing.
Just because it makes you smile every time you run.
Oh, dude. Oh my. So I took some videos. I have a TikTok. It's a brand new TikTok. I'm not really even a TikTok guy, but I took some videos of this thing and I posted them on TikTok. And oh my god, dude, it's so much fun.
Is that a real conversion? Is that the metal one? Is that the?
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
is it.
That's
So-
Northwest, right?
What is the going price for this? My mom found one yesterday at a yard sale. The guy had $250 on it.
That's
I have
amazing.
photos. I have photos of. I'll send it to you. I'll put them up here. $250. It looked like it was all there. She's like, well, maybe he'll, come down a hair, and he came down to $150. Is
That's
that
not bad.
one?
I mean-
Okay. I said the guy knows what he has. I'm looking for my mom to go to a yard sale and drop $5, like on somebody that does not know what they have.
Right. The best price I have ever gotten on one of these when I was actively looking, I found one for $75, but they were unwilling to ship it, so I offered them $150 total to ship it to me, right? So that I still paid $150, but the shipping was included. That's probably the
Right.
best deal I've ever gotten on one. It's really if you find one that's really nice and clean, yeah, it's totally worth the $200, but that's not the one that I want. I'm gonna drive it. It's gonna get scraped up. It's gonna get beat up. The rust is actually kind of nice. This one I had powder coated, right? I took the whole thing apart. My buddy owns his own powder coating company. I had him powder coated bright white with like a shimmering gloss. And so, just give me the dirty, crappy old beater you got in the backyard, and I'll fix it.
Yeah, I totally foresee, if you follow Cletus McFarland, I totally see one of these Winnebagos at Beat the Creek, which is in a few days, going to be spray painted with the American flag on both sides, the Dega Bega. I see it coming. If you follow that channel, you know what I'm saying. And
Oh,
I
that's hilarious.
have a feeling, and that just happened two days ago on his YouTube. So I guarantee you by Beat the Creek, I'll see at least one there.
Well,
It's the same winning.
excited to see some pictures of that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, the winnings. So the guys that are buying them that are complete, they're whole, and they're in really good shape, are the smart guys are selling the interiors off to the collectors for replacement parts, and then just using the body.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Do they get hacked up then to sit
No.
on a track? No, they're not
You,
getting.
you do not have to drill one single rivet if you don't want to.
Wow.
Well, so for this conversion kit, you do, and I'll show you the only things that you have to do where you have the axle and like the axle mounting system from the stock with the plastic wheels and everything. It's got 6 rivets,
Those,
3
yeah.
on each side. You have to drill those out, and then that piece falls off. Then you have this plastic holder piece, right? This holds the front end to the chassis. It's 3 screws that go into the rivet holes. And then it's the same with the rear end, same deal. You got 3 screws that go into the rivet holes. So it's a very fast conversion. If you can build an RTR kit, man, it's child's play. It just goes right together. Yeah, look at that right there. That's a good one.
Again, 250 was start off.
Yeah.
150
Not-
came down
not-
to.
Not that I've done these, but here's the axles.
Oh, there it is.
There's your 6. There's your 6 holes that he's talking about. That
Whoa.
you do drill the rivets out of these.
Yeah. 1/8" drill bit, drill them right out, boom, then you're ready. It's ready to go. Slap on, slap.
Not
right
that
on.
I've done that.
So, are you guys at all interested in seeing the SCX6 leaf spring kit?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's do
Yes.
it. Let's grab
It's the
it.
crown jewel of this entire program.
Right. Duh.
I feel like not a lot of people have seen this.
So there's the rear end. I'll try and show it as best I can.
You're perfect. It's
Perfect.
It's working.
So this is a fully functioning, this has been the test model that I've been running. So I have it on stock dampeners right now, but all of the people that I'm working with, everyone that has bought this kit, I have them in a group chat on Facebook Messenger, and we're all sharing ideas and we're all kind of like working on this project together, right? So the latest innovation was getting a shock key for the axle side instead of the chassis side. It's an axle side shock key that allows you to run the Traxxas UDR rear shocks that are like 175 millimeters. You get way more flex out of those.
Yeah.
But I think kind of one of my favorite parts about this kit is the front block assembly hides the front eyelets of the leaf springs.
Yeah.
So they're not going to get damaged at all. These things are heavy. They're like 25 pounds after you lighten them up. So all of that is hidden by that front bumper. The stock body mounts, I don't know if you can see that,
Mm-hmm.
but the stock body mounts go into the holes there. Check this.
That's slick. That is super slick.
Here's that front block unit right here.
Wow.
So this front block is definitely one of the most expensive parts that comes out of Merchant Metal Fab.
And
It,
looks sexy. I mean, what a clean looking part.
thank you.
Man.
Thank you. This cost me, it's actually really, like, it's expensive, but it's cheap. This cost me almost $200 to make, right?
Wow.
And it seems like a big price tag, but I've talked to some CNC shops. Oh, by the way, this is 3D printed aluminum. This is not a CNC product. This is 3D printed aluminum. It's SLM is the print style, or whatever, the print format, whatever you want to call it. But it's 3D printed in aluminum, and then it's bead blasted afterward, right? But what's great about this is it gives you a lot more freedom with design, because it's printing it like it doesn't have a little clip that holds on an actuator for the
Right.
CNC machine. So, like, a perfect example, I had a CNC shop give me a quote on this part right here.
Yep.
This is the very first part that I designed for the SCX6. This is the front front passenger side leaf mount. And to put it into perspective, just this single part, if I ordered 500 of them, they could get the price down to $35 a piece. If I ordered, because I mean, dude, these kits are so expensive for me to make. I can only do them in like orders of like 3 or 4, right?
Mhm.
If I ordered 3, they were going to be $178 a piece, just because of the way that it's shaped and how they have to reset it every
Texture.
time on that,
Yeah.
So the fact that this is 3D printed aluminum and it just sits on the print bed like that and gets printed, they can do it for way less. It's way less expensive.
Yeah.
I have done lots and lots of durability testing. The biggest apprehension that everyone had with this was that it's basically just like pot metal. It's just going to break. It's just going to, the holes are going to strip. I actually really haven't had that problem. And I've had a lot of people put these things through the ringer. I had 2 redheaded stepchildren designs. One was for the Vanquish F10 axles. The rear leaf mount, I had made it come up and over the axle truss, right? But I only left about 1.5 millimeters at its smallest to come over that truss, right? So right where that crease was, it would break. I fixed that by just adding another millimeter, so we have 2.5 millimeters of height there, and that made it plenty thick enough to make it stronger. So, there was a couple of design flaws that were my fault. I fixed them, and now, dude, this 3D printed aluminum stuff is just it's awesome. It's way cool, and it has allowed me to produce some cool products for the industry.
Yeah. And that where you're having that printed, that service, where's that based out of?
Well, the service is actually based out of Germany.
Oh,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Germans are known for good metal work. I mean,
Totally.
I mean, they build those RC combines that still absolutely amaze me. The dump trucks, the combines, the construction equipment they do, it's amazing.
Right.
And it's all that same machined or that printed metals.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
I just
Well, I
think
wanna
it's
say-
super cool that you were thanking a 3D printer in the early stages with your beta and R&D, and now we're coming full circle to thank a 3D printer for the producing of the final part now also. And like that it's printing aluminum. Like
Yeah.
blow me away. That is so awesome. But
if I had $40,000 to spend, I would buy one.
right. I know they're not cheap. But there's some upsell to this too. You're not getting any welded joint area. Yeah, I mean, it's such a clean looking part. They're very cool.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it is an RC car. So
That was
mean-
that was his exact words, though, Leif. That's
I
what
mean-
you said the other day. At the end of the day, dude, it's an RC car.
it's an RC
And
car.
It's not.
That
like,
was it, and it's a really touchy subject, right? And now I want to clarify something. The service that I use is based in Germany. The actual product that I get, these leaf spring conversion kit parts, they come from China, right? That is where they are actually made.
Oh, you're talking
Right.
about the
The
pack.
product.
yeah, the actual product, like where it
Yeah.
gets, but the service, the people I go through are based out of Germany, right?
Okay.
I'm dancing around. There's some secrets are not mine to give. All right.
Yeah,
But-
hey,
You're
that's-
fine. Yep, you're
But-
totally fine.
But I will say, so
Well, the guys that order off of Shapeways now, that's where their stuff's coming from too.
right, exactly,
I mean,
exactly. And it's for what it is. It's the same thing. It's just a different name,
Correct.
So, but I think
I'm glad you found it.
one of the important things that I have learned is that there is a time and place to have something that is a billet machined, awesome, like really tough product, right? And it used to be that I thought that a leaf mount had to be that, but because of how it's attached, because of how it handles itself, it doesn't take impact, it doesn't move, there's a lot of things that it doesn't do, right? So it's in a safe position. And
He
then
hasn't seen me drive, Jeremy.
well, I'm sure my friend Kyle Bagley up here would give you a run for your money. But you know, there are certain places where you need that kind of billet machine strength, and I just don't think that a leaf mount needs it. Now, granted, a good friend of mine, John Metzger, he has a design for the F10T leaf mount for the F10T axle, right? That is one of the very few designs that I haven't touched because he has what I believe is a superior product because it is a billet machined product. And it is so strong and it looks so nice and it's so cool. But the problem is he doesn't make any money off of them because it's such an expensive product, but he has to keep it at a market value, right? And what the problem that poses is it makes it really hard for him if he has any sort of mistakes, if a batch comes out bad, or if he, if something breaks and somebody has to warranty it, it's a heartache, right? But because these are a little bit less expensive and just as suitable because it's for an RC car and it is it's a stationary part, it allows me to give a lifetime warranty on all of my 3D printed aluminum products. In fact, anything that comes out of Merchant Metal Fab has a lifetime warranty on it as long as it's in production. And that includes cages and bumpers, anything that I make, just send it back to me and I'll fix it. Or if it's something small, I'll make you a new one and fix it. If it's a leaf mount, I will send a new one right away. Just whatever you need. I will take care of that for you because I have the smaller overhead to do that.
Yeah. Like I said, man, you got it nailed. You're doing it right. That it made me, I know other people, Justin said, I guess I'm buying a 6 now. It would give me a reason to buy a 6 again. And I've had 3 of them at this point, and they kind of pass through.
But I can see you itching, like, should I do it again?
Yeah.
Well, hey, just between you and me, now I am able to produce these leaf kits, these conversion kits. I can just order them now that all the design work is done. I can order them and I can retail them, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the easy part. The hard part is getting the leaf spring because they are a handmade product, right? So you have to get on a list with Twisted Fab, and then he will have them custom tailored to your weight, right? If you are a hard driver, or if you have a heavy truck, or if you're like me and you have a light truck and you are a soft driver, you can get a more flexible spring. So I am able to offer the hanger system with all of the shackles and all the hardware and all that, but I cannot offer the leaf spring. Mm-hmm. Except I updated my leaf springs, and now I have an extra set of brand new leaf springs that I can sell. So if by chance you wanted one, just let me know. I actually can hook you up with the full conversion kit now.
Wow.
Somebody on here is going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, hit me up, man. You know where to find me.
And Matt, probably Matt. So, yeah, as he says, he's got a new honcho sitting on the floor ready for ADA.
There it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Matt, go over to Twisted Fab's page on either Instagram or Facebook and watch how he runs these things. He's literally taken his leaf sprung SCX, and now leaf springs have always been known to be like the weaker system, right? Taking his leaf sprung SCX6 and jumping it like 3 to 4 feet in the air, and just, oh man, my pucker string draws when I watch these videos. But he's just torture testing his own product, and it's kind of crazy what these things will do.
Yeah, we kind of went through the blackjack at 860 kV 8S monsters. Like, I know my SCX6 with that system in it. I know I was clipping 60, 65 mile an hour with it. It was insane. It was way overkill.
So so I actually, believe it or not, I have the same system in my truck. I feel like my 860 is really slow. I run, but I'm only running 4S through it. I have the 8S Mamba Monster.
You need to just jump into 8S, but If you really want wheel speed, put overdrive gears in the front and the rear.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you now.
she will be a screamer.
Oh man.
At Axial Fest, the first year that they ran SCX6 races, I had 2 laps on the field of running the SCX6s to the point where I kind of stopped and waited for everybody because I felt bad. Like it was ugly. 2 laps out of a 5-lap race. I had 2 laps on the field. That's how fast that thing was.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And Matt has a question for the trail housings, because they're more or less a replica of the factory housing. Has anybody tried the system on aftermarket housings?
Not yet. And that's right now I have to base everything off of stock, right?
Mhm.
Until we get a little bit more traction, right? Because as a retailer, I do my best to make it available to everyone, and not everyone has the trail housings.
Mhm.
But I can guarantee if you have an SCX6, you most likely have the plastic housings. I have heard of people modifying other of my leaf mounts to mate with trio housings. It's entirely possible. I believe that with a little bit of handiwork with a file or a Dremel, you can make it happen. Luckily, my lifetime warranty covers that. If you have an moment modifying one of these parts for yours, then I will take care of that.
That's awesome.
It's just
Wow.
let me know. Just tell me it's broken and I'll fix it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm willing to offer those with the trio housings.
Matt, just send him the email now. That's set up. I know what's running through his head because he wants it for Badlands.
Which actually, speaking of, I am actually really excited for Axial Fest this year, not because I'm going, but a friend of mine, Tom Tisdale, lives in Austria. He has an SCX6 conversion kit, and he's going to take it to Axial Fest this year. And I am very excited for them to see what we're packing, over here in the Pacific Northwest.
Very cool. Very cool. I know Matt's going, and like he's an ambassador for sure. Like
perfect.
Yeah.
I can see him
at the Badlands showing this thing off. Yeah. 100%. And it would be seen in his hands. There's no question.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. And so listen, if something does break, all you are basically saying is, customers, be honest with me, because the honesty goes a long way. You're getting feedback. Don't sell me a BS story. I need to know how it broke, and I'm not trying to get you in a gotcha. I'm going to replace your part for you, but please, the information you give me back helps you during the whole process of building and designing a part. So you want the honest feedback. And you also want to know what they're putting it on. If you find out that they're thinking of something you've never done before, like installing it on trail axles, it's super important that your customers are sharing this information with you, because you might already have it on a set of trail axles and you don't even know it yet.
Right. And that was actually kind of a happy little accident that I found out that my F10 leaf mounts will work with the F10T axles with just a little bit of modification, right? And so that's something I hadn't even tried myself. And I am happy to say that since this whole section of Merchant Metal Fab started last October, I have 8 leaf conversion kits. I have 90 different leaf mount designs, individual designs, and I have there is so much that I have produced in the last 6 to 7 months that I need every little bit of feedback that anyone has for me so that I can, because I'm racing through this stuff. I get stuff done in like a day or two, and then I'm on to the next project. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that I'm like just shoveling out a bunch of crap. I'm putting the thought that's required into this, and then I get it to a point where I think it's satisfactory. I then turn it over, right? So after that, there's all of the endless possibilities of people putting it on different things or putting it through different situations that I don't see here in the Pacific Northwest. So when somebody comes back to me and says, hey man, I, was at the Grand Canyon and launched this thing off 10 feet, and it broke. Okay, well, that's that's an outlier scenario. Let me get you covered, and we'll see what I can do about making that a better product or more strong or whatever, right? There's so many use case scenarios that are so helpful, every little bit of it. And a lot of times I can kind of tell just by a single picture, what needs to be done or what maybe not need to be done. But yeah, all that feedback is it's critical. It's vital. And I love it. And I never want anyone to think that I can't take criticism or that I can't, because even when people are coming at me with like just straight up hate, there is still something to learn from that situation. Right. And I pride myself on that communication. And I really hope that people are good about just coming to me and say, hey man, this doesn't work.
Matt's comment is directed at me. I totally did that.
Well, thank goodness we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I did want to encourage everybody to make sure you go navigate your website. There is a lot of stuff in there. You have definitely been busy, from the bumpers to all the conversions. I just went scrolling through the catalog, and it's an impressive setup. There's plenty there. We did focus a lot on the CJ and the SCX6. Point being, there's a lot of other stuff there too.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah, so if you got a truck, go check them out. If you want Leafs, go check out Leif. Leaf the Leaf guy. Hopefully at some point,
it's memorable at nothing.
It is. You can just say it over and over.
Yeah.
Bro,
who's that Leaf guy? Yeah, that Leaf guy.
I really kind of get goosebumps, and you think about how this stuff happens. All we wanted was an opportunity to chop down a tree, branch out a little bit, hopefully break an algorithm, connect some new people to what you're doing. That's all the opportunity was. It's exciting. You have been fantastic. I'm hoping that maybe you can give us a lead on your buddies at Twisted Fab and NW Northwest Scalar Designs to come
Absolutely
hang out with us one Saturday. We can take a deep dive in what they're doing. I know you guys are collaborative together like that. So yeah, we would love to have them on one night.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, Twisted Fab Co, Northwest Scalar Designs, Kenny's Custom Crap is another one. Believe that is his type, Kenny's Custom Crap. And he has some pretty cool crap too. But I will absolutely talk to him and see if we can't get him on the show. And I'm sure they would love to.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm glad that we could turn over a new leaf.
Absolutely. You keep saying Leif.
Well, you're certainly bouncing back. Don't get it twisted.
Man, what? I better go spring into action and get to dinner.
Jeremy's making T-shirts up in his head as he's going along here.
Oh man. So, one more. Yes. After dinner, I got to get on the elliptical.
Oh. Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up.
You do not want to play against Jeremy. I promise you. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh,
well, that's not like we have any hang-ups.
Yeah.
That's so good. Leif, I hope you had fun. That's all I got. I hope you had fun. We can't thank you enough for hanging out with us for an hour or a little over. We slid over a hair. If you want, you're more than welcome. Do you have to go or what? You're more than welcome to hang here in the background if you want. What we wanted to do was we're going to make some room. We're going to slide you out of the way. I want to bring the Zill in. Jeremy has been working on this thing. He has been a busy little beaver. If you want to sit in the corner quietly, you're more than welcome to hang out, Leif. I'm going to bring up Jeremy on the big screen, and we are going to let him talk about the adjustable wheelbase and what he's been doing with this boom truck. Now, I know with everybody, I know the Beat the Creek guys are super excited to see this thing with
Mhm.
Boom gonna be at Beat the Creek. That's a big deal. This is exciting. So
Yeah.
let me slide Jeremy front and center here. Go like this. There we go.
Yes. So the Zills have started shipping, started to being people have received them, and I'm already seeing nearly completed builds. So hopefully at Beat the Creek, you'll be able to see a bunch of them running around and not just mine sitting, and that'll be it. But so the platform is uh, BRX-01 adjustable wheelbase, and they accomplish that through the rear frame section being able to be extended. And it's got a locking system to prevent it from self-stretching. So it's very robust. Plus, there's another rear chassis piece that you can put in that's even longer to get you a longer wheelbase if that's what you want. So it's kind of infinitely adjustable because the rear leaf spring pack is on that rear frame rail section. And you can also, the drive shaft right now has enough length in it for the longest wheelbase possibility. So what they did is they used the BRX-02 steering pieces. The anti-torque bars are in the front and the rear, just like the BRX-02. So you don't have any leaf wrap. I've been running this thing for about 3 months now. I'm running a Castle Micro X2 in it with a 3800 kV slate. So I'm putting power down to it. It's the same 2-speed, so it's probably running 30, 35 mile an hour at this point with that motor combo in it on 3S. And it's holding up. I haven't been a leaf. I haven't been a shock. I haven't, none of those issues are existing. And I've beat the crap out of this truck. It's in low gear. It is super scale crawling. The axle movement is really, really good. And like Leif said, the spring angles I think are in check. They're better than I've seen on a lot of the trucks. So it does have a pretty good inversion on it. So it does flex out really well. I don't know if it comes across really well, but you can see it's moving the right direction before the leaf spring's compressing. So I feel like they got the geometry right. The skid, it's a very flat belly. It does have the skid riser or the risers on the leaf links. So from the chassis transition to the leaf is kind of very smooth. There's no hang spots. Axles, BRX-80 axles, so they're very, very well done. And this body is just a medium. It's not it bolts on. The battery box is in the back. So that's where your battery would go. So you don't take the body off to change the battery. The doors, it's got an interior in it. Sparse, but it's there. The centered engine with the 2-speed. So the scale engine bay will be a thing. They just really did a lot of homework on this, and that's why it took so long to come to market, because it took all of those updates that they've been learning. And I'm proud of Boom Racing for being the learning company. They see what's working. They see what the need is in the industry or in the hobby to get trucks like this that actually work well out of the box. Everything on this is metal. So it's, that precision fit that you're used to from Boom Racing. And it's beautiful. And it bolts together. Instantly if you're doing something wrong because you're having to force it. The parts, they just fit where they're supposed to go. No issues whatsoever.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I've
And
only heard that.
Moving that radio box up to the front eliminates all that wiring throughout the chassis that you see on the BRX-02. that style where the battery or where the receiver box is all the way in the back. And that box is just there as a waterproofing measure. So you don't need it. You can just do away with it if you're going to go to a comp style. There's things that they're going to probably do in the future if there's enough demand, like a slider. Like you would get a truck like this without the electronics, no wheels and tires, no body. Like if that's something that you want, you need to express that. So if you're wanting to do a build, custom build, like this is a better starting point for that than, you know, trying to get rid of the body and trying to, you know, do other stuff. But the axles being as narrow as they are, you get full tire tuck with this body and the TF2 body. The tires actually tuck inside of the body shell and it looks scale. So there's, yeah, like Matt said, there's over 2 years of making this thing. A lot of revisions along the way, and I got dirt falling out all over my desk from this because I do run it. But it's, you know, it's a really good truck. It's been a long time coming. I don't think anything else Leaf on the market touches it or compares to it at this point. I mean, they're killing it. Nobody else does, you know, anti-wrap front and rear out of the box. That in itself, and the geometry, you can clock the pinion to meet, you know, whatever you're doing with the Leafs. If you re-engineer the hangers, you can still clock the pinion with the stock axle to keep everything in check, and it only takes about 2 minutes to do that. So it's a really nice thought, thinking forward design, which is what Boom is famous for. They're 10 steps ahead. The accessory parts are already being released, and the trucks just got released. Like metal bumper sets, they're already shipping for this truck. People were able to pre-order it with the truck.
What color does the truck come in out of the box?
It's white molded plastic.
Okay.
Yep.
So the blue one that we've been seeing leaked for a while, was that somebody painted that one at some
Yeah, that
point?
was painted.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then the brown that
proto-
we're looking here, that was
Yeah.
one that you painted. That's
Yeah.
your okay.
Yeah, the prototypes were mixed color. Some gray was in it, some white pieces were in it. So, and that was just because they're running through the prototype molding process to get approvals. So they did like 6 of these prototype trucks at this level. There were some earlier ones, like that blue one that you saw. That chassis didn't make it. It got redesigned midstream, but like this, it's very the King Kong RC cab.
Yeah.
It's very close to that, but there's differences.
They're
So
okay.
it is not that cab. It is.
But I've
like
heard this saying, I've heard somebody say it's the King Kong body.
Yeah, it's not. It looks like it, but it's not it.
It's not.
There are differences.
There is difference. Okay.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, it's going on a different chassis. It's a different manufacturer. There are differences that are substantial.
Is this the one you're referring to? Was this the V1? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's the iconic one that's been up on their website for last year and a half, 2 years. Okay. Beat the Creek.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Beat the Creek's a thing this year. No, wait. Beat the Creek has been a thing for Boom Racing for other years. We've had Matthew Maynard has been up and running a Boom Racing tent at this event for a while. Can we say anything about what's different about Beat the Creek this year? Is it out in the open with the owner? Is it?
Yeah. So Jason Sang will be there,
and that's fact.
Yeah. I hope so. He's signing for the Airbnb I'm staying in.
But that's a big freaking deal, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he will be there. We will be doing collectively the Scaletra, the app for the scale experience with your garage and all that stuff. So introducing a lot of people to that environment. and we hope to see a lot of mapping of the trails at Beat the Creek.
Is Beat the Creek coordinated with this? Are they
Yeah.
coordinating runs around Scaletra for you guys?
It's not really around Scaletra. They know that we're using it,
Okay.
and they know that it's going to be mapped, and it'll actually improve, I think, what they're doing at Beat the Creek, because then they'll have an accurate GPS map from several sources. So it's, crowdsourcing that information to make a refined map. And it'll also show who used the most, what trail got used the most.
Who drove the most? Yeah.
Who drove the most? Yeah. Who put down the miles? Because it's all data at that point.
And it's worked. It's worked for events like, the GA, the Georgia Rock Zombie guys got behind it. And Jason Boom has gotten behind Operation 11 Charlie and different what would you have called them? Challenges,
which turn into fundraisers. So if you don't know Scaletra is free. There's no advertising on it. There's no fee to it. It's absolutely free. And what they're doing is they're just making RC enjoyable. If you go scale trailing, you have a way to keep track of yourself, a way to maybe understand where somebody's at on a trail, because you can share it as you go along. But you can also share the enjoyment, like where to take pictures on a trail. Those type of things are what that's the benefit. Plus garaging, so you can load your trucks into the app and in your scale garage, and those garages will be able to get bigger. Right now I think it's capped at 15, but you can put those trucks in there and you can record the mileage on your trucks. You can put in little details, little services, little changes, what motor I was running, what batteries I was running, details like that. So you create this histogram for a truck that you can use yourself, or you can compare it with others.
So it's like All Trails meets Carfax.
Bingo.
Meets Onyx Off-Road.
Okay.
So all of that in one place. Yeah.
Wow.
I must have showed it off.
Yeah, if you trade trucks with somebody, if you sell a truck with somebody,
they're
working on the feasibility of transfers.
Literally transferred over to my wall, like bring it right into my digital garage.
Yeah. So on Boom Racing, you do that because all these trucks are VIN numbered and registered through their website. So when you sell a Boom truck to someone else, you can transfer the title, so to speak, to that person. So it's a pride of ownership thing, which makes these trucks, I think, intrinsically more valuable than most. It's not like an axial truck can have a serial number. There's thousands of CJ7s out there. But there's no way to track them. There's 1,000 Boom Racing trucks, but they have a way to track ownership of those trucks.
I had one in my hands today that I was like so close to buying, and it was all coming down to the number. He's like, it was a BRX 02, I think he said it was, but it was the low digit number that was, he's like, I can't let it go for less than 1,200. And he's like, watch, we'll take it up to the pavilion. He's like, I could sell it like that because they are coveted. And what people are chasing is this number that he's trying to show me on the back. And
and they were doing this a long time ago. The original BRX 01s were all numbered trucks. So those, like, it's not like a copy of what other companies have done to number their trucks. Like, this has been going on for quite some time. And it tracks, like Matt's saying, you can track maintenance at certain mileage, recommendations, kind of like a car dealership. Like, you should have your transmission serviced at 40,000 miles. You should probably check the gears in your transmission of a Boom truck after about 50. So
you're tracking the mileage now, and wow,
that's a lot of miles, though. When you think about how many miles you're walking with this thing, like, that's a lot of miles.
Yeah, they add up. Matt's done over 200 in a year. I've done probably close to 100 in a year on different trucks. Matt did it on one truck. and that thing is like a beast. And there was some normal maintenance intervals that, where bearings had to be looked at. He ran the same motor the whole 200 miles, and I think I have that one back. But it's pretty incredible to have an app that will actually do those things.
So
and they don't
it is
care.
going to send you a reminder. Are we spitballing ideas of what the app should do, or are you saying that it will kick you this reminder?
So they'll get there, right?
Okay.
So this, it's very early. So if there's things that you want with this app, they have a feedback forum on Facebook. You can say, hey, maybe at the 50-mile mark, you give me an indicator that says, hey, you need a maintenance program, or what, have you done this?
My check engine light is on.
Yeah, basically. So those are things that they're growing into the app. And as people use it and they give that feedback, they're growing in knowledge, their learning is increasing, and they're making the app even better. Yeah, 230 miles in it is mental. But so all that said, like it's a very unique experience that we're bringing to Beat the Creek this year.
Yes.
I think we're going to be busy.
The app is free. The app is free.
The app is free. And we're, it's a QR code scan away at Beat the Creek. Like you can
easily
QR scan it, take a picture of your truck, upload your truck, go out on a trail. Like you're pretty much 3 steps digitally of doing it. It'll track on and off GPS satellite as long as you start it while you have GPS service. It'll keep tracking when you go out of service, and then you can upload when you get done. So it's a pretty cool little tool. We'll be there with the Skelter tent, the boom tent. I'll have all of my boom trucks there. The AWB, maybe another AWB will be there from Boom, another prototype truck. And
Maynard will probably have his, right?
Maynard will probably have his, and there might be another one there from that group. Peter Gray.
Oh,
if he comes,
yeah.
Brian Parker will be there.
Is that out of the bag? Is that 100% fact? Also,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay.
And all plans. Plans
change on Parker time. All things change.
So, but that so far is the plan.
Okay. Well, that was the rumor that we heard. Parker was coming. Like, this is very cool.
Yeah. So it'll be pretty cool. Yeah.
Timing was right. Beat the Creek was timed perfectly, or was the Zill timed perfectly? Like the excitement around this truck, it would Beat the Creek around the corner. This is super exciting.
Yeah. It's a great place to show it off. There's a lot of exposure because it's a highly attended event.
Big event. Yeah.
And other things pushed the release date forward. Political things moved to get them into the US as fast as possible. So it seems a little rushed, but it was already ready. So there was no point in delaying it anymore. So they just started.
Rush was what? To beat the tariff, you're saying? Is that?
Yeah. Without saying
tariff, without saying, okay, gotcha. Without getting on the soapbox and saying, I walked right into it.
You did. Right into it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, but the writing was on the wall, right?
He said it right there. Mike, the rest of the people all tuning in.
I'm a military strategist, so it's like in my heart not to say what I want to say, but it's still say it at the same time.
Can I just say, I went into this. You sent me a picture of the thumbnail for the thing, and I saw this Zill on there, and I'm on what I believe to be the cutting edge of leaf spring technology as we see it today. And I was ready to tear that thing to shreds, man. And it's only because there's this guy Max CRC
Yeah, Maxi. Yeah.
And so I've been watching his videos. It looks like another brick on leaf springs like the TF2. And so I've been watching these videos and I'm like, man, what is up with this hot garbage? And so now I will admit, I live somewhat under a rock. I'm so busy in here. I don't really have time to go through and like look at specs. Hearing and seeing some of the details of the ZIL for the first time today, I'm impressed. I really like it. I personally am not like super thrilled about the adjustable wheelbase thing. It really doesn't do much for me, but some of the other things that I'm seeing, like the 2-speed and the front anti-wrap and that's very cool stuff. I have seen people do like I offer an anti-wrap system, and it's a very simple one, and I've seen people use it on the front end. It does help protect the front leaf springs. So like there are some things that I am actually really excited to see this in person and maybe start making some parts for it. And like I have a new appreciation for it. So thank you, and I'm really glad I stayed to kind of listen to the corner here.
Absolutely. And I did. So when I built this prototype truck, I recorded it, and I recorded it for the purpose not necessarily to put it on YouTube. I recorded it for Boom Racing, for Jason and the engineers, as I proofread the instruction manual. Like, hey, can normal people build this truck with using this information? And as I built it, I skipped some things like the transmission build, because it's the same transmission in the BRX-02, and I've already done videos on that stuff, and none of that was different.
You can build them with your eyes closed and blindfolded.
Yeah. Like I know where the shims go and all that, but it's the things that were different about this truck is what I recorded, and when I sent it to them, like they looked at it. There was like 15 views on a private video on YouTube, so I know that they watched it because they were the only people with the link. But then I was told, you can release it, and I was like, okay. Like I released it, and right now I think it's at like 2,300 views. So there's definitely some interest in that content. I wish I would have been a little more thorough from a user perspective, but it's
you recorded
showing
it
those
with
things
one
off.
intention, and now you see a whole other. Might be worth reshooting it again.
Right. Yeah. Somebody else is going to shoot video of a full build of this truck, and I let them. That's great. But it's worth watching if you just roll over to my channel and look at those. And even the BRX-02s, when they first start coming out, the series Land Rovers, those are chassis that are built around a body. This is a chassis with a body on it, and that's the difference between the BRX-01 AWB and the series Land Rovers. So that it's a different approach to an end, and I think they really did this well.
Is that you trying to convince him the AWB is a win, or because he started out saying I'm not a big fan of the AWB? In a word, can you sell him on an AWB?
I think he's already sold on the AWB, but if you want a Land Rover that works fantastically on leaf springs, you need to go look at the series trucks from Boom Racing. That is a body that had a chassis built to perform under it. And this is a chassis that you can put any body on it and it perform. That's the way the two different design approaches.
And the AWB allows you to adjust the chassis for the body that you choose.
Yep. Where the Land Rovers are fixed wheelbase, the 88 and the 109 are scale representations of a true vehicle in those wheelbases, so they're not adjustable. And you'd have a hard time finding a body that would fit that wheelbase, the way that they're built in that scale. So this is not that.
So, and I guess this could turn out to be, remember with the Hillamon and Hemi-Storm drops the cab truck right on the Hillamon out of the gate. Is the same thing going to happen here with this AWB, where bodies are coming that we haven't even thought of yet? Like, holy shit, I never thought that body would have ended up on this truck.
Yeah, blow the dust off of some of your old hard bodies and measure the wheelbases, and you're going to be surprised that most of them fit in this range, with or without the extensions. The Tamiya YJ, shrink this thing up to the short, and you're in YJ territory.
Wow.
So I mean, bodies that kind of are forgotten about at this point. I'm telling you now, the TF2 looks fantastic on this chassis.
Okay.
There's nothing above the rear frame rail from this section back is flat on top of the frame rail. There's nothing.
Well, I had that photo up of it.
So a full depth bed is completely there. The only reason that this is here is to hold the battery without.
And I love that you don't have to take the body off to replace the battery.
Yeah.
So
for this
as
body,
far as the adjustability goes, is it in a slot where you can go like, quarter inches, or is it locked into like 12.3, 12.0?
It's slotted, and you can do it by millimeter, and it's measured on the rail. Like it's got the slots, and then it's got locking screws to hold it in that position. Once you set the length, then there's screws that lock it into position. Wow. So like I could stretch this wheelbase to its fullest extent, and all it would do is put a gap between the bed and the cab, which would look great. Like with this chassis, I could extend it fully, and it would look like a cab, like a normal pickup. Right now, with it all the way in, it looks pretty close, kind of like a custom truck, where a real, full-size truck would have, 2 inches in between the bed and the body. And you can do that and keep this body on it and still stretch the wheelbase if you want. Wheelbase gives you articulation, blah, blah, blah.
I know we're looking at your wiring, and your wiring.
Don't judge me on my wiring.
Your wiring is not normal. I get it, but holy crap, it's such a clean.
I'm a bit OCD when it comes to wire jobs. Like this is before it was wired. This was just the pre-organization photo, but it's very similar to its finished form. Like that's without the speed control sitting.
It's clean. But I wanted to show you the back end.
The flat section.
Yep.
Yeah, the shift servo is all the way back there on the opposite side of where that shift servo is.
Let Reef hear you.
It's a shift servo, not a shift servo. It's a
Reef servo.
It is a Reef. Clearly, it is a Reef servo in the front and back of that truck. So, if you didn't know, the Boom Racing, these chassis come with a shifting servo. It's a JX servo, but the Reef's the 55 is a direct fit. So you can go, the 55 use a regular servo horn. It's waterproof. It's 8.4 volts, like it's goof proof. So putting it in there, and it's a little bit shorter form factor. But I don't know where you're.
I'm sorry, I got it.
Oh,
if you're not going to mention it, I'm going.
I'm not going to mention it, but you can.
I'm going to. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to. That the sticker kit is here. This is the Boom Racing's ZIL sticker kit. This is what's coming in the box. And if we could point it out, I don't know if I can actually zoom in. No, I can't actually zoom in on it. But if we talk about Addy's RC, we can congratulate him. It is a big deal. There is an Addy's RC logo drop on this sticker sheet. If I took my mouse and kind of circled it right here. So listen, people, congratulations, Jeremy. You deserved it. That's a big honor. It's a big deal. So cool. I knew you weren't going to take the time to say it, but I had to. There it is.
And this is the third vehicle I've worked with Boom Racing on, proofing instructions and prototypes and stuff like that. So I'm actually in the back of the instruction manual again with another quote. Jason likes doing that. And the quotes are from around the world, which is where he tested and prototyped this truck. So it's not just what the US thinks. It's not just what Europe thinks. It's not what, China thinks, and like he's all over the map of the world, global, to make this truck as right as it can be for everyone that's going to enjoy it, and that screams volumes. A lot of manufacturers do not do that. They're just like, here's my junk, and have a nice time. This is what I think you need. Where this is more of a truck of a, we know you need this, and they can back that up.
And it's all part of that feedback.
Yeah. Yep. These trucks, the prototypes they're running in the desert, they're running in the woods, they're running, it's that global picture of what a leaf spring adjustable wheelbase truck should be is in this truck. And I'm proud to be a part of it, and very, humble of given the opportunity to work with them on it, another truck. So
is Jesse here? Anybody? Can anybody tell me if
I think
Jesse
Matt's still
Clark-
here because he asked if I put a sound box in it, and he knows I am never putting a sound system in any of my sketches.
He did that on purpose.
He did. He's trying to agitate.
Would your OCD make you put some Dynamat in there too, so it didn't rattle?
So it's funny you say that. If you look up at that Metal Masher Suburban up on top of the shelf up there, that's full scale Dynamat, because it's an aluminum body and it makes aluminum body sounds.
That's awesome.
So it is fully Dynamated.
Oh man,
Jesse is here.
He is here. I need to play fair. I need to be very kind then. I was going to share some behind the scenes photos from Roush earlier today. We got some cute ones of Jesse putting in work. I did get great content out of her actually competing and driving and doing work, but it was one of those dumb moves that I didn't hit record. It was I wasn't recording the entire time.
Oh,
The recording starts when it's down at my feet and we were talking. I'm like, I had it opposite. So now I had to go back later. But she did do work. You guys would be proud of our girl Jessie. She put in the work today out there. I don't know what place she finished in, but that was good stuff. Hang on one second here.
are they going back tomorrow for finals?
They must be.
Yeah.
They have to be.
They gotta be. That's usually their MO. They usually do finals the second day.
I mean, and there's no water, sewer, electric hookup. These guys are grinding it, roughing it.
Yeah.
They've been there some have been there since Monday.
Yep. Put us on the 3 screen. You got me on the big screen.
All right, hang on. I was gonna see if I can find one here. I found some with her in the background. Wait, there she is.
I mean, usually you're just like click, 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 and it's like,
yeah, right. Hang on, I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm trying to navigate between screens.
leave it on there.
All right, there we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Is she running?
She's actually running there. This is her competing.
Time matters.
Time matters. Yeah, but it was good to watch. I have now completely lost. It's Metal Merchant. I've lost my it's dual screen. Hang on. I
lost your cursor?
I did. I'm like, oh shit, the other screen. All right. Lastly, I did want to share. This is Jesse working. Fun little novelty. I don't know if I have audio running on this or not, but shout out to this guy. I had to. Oh wait, never mind. I can't. There's audio. Wait, maybe I can mute it.
It's muted.
All right, it's muted. All right. Look, this is for you G1 fans.
wow.
Ravage, Megatron, Soundwave, and a full-blown Optimus. You're dealing with a 1 month, solid month sitting in a chair. I mean, it's front, back,
Wow.
Not one for a tattoo guy. I don't really geek out over other people's artwork, but hey, much love. Dan, a Sorka fan. So that was something we were talking about earlier when we mentioned the Sorka thing. I think the way to clean that up a little bit was the Sorka living rule set and the Sorka board hovered around 5 guys, hovered 5, 6-ish, somewhere in that area. I must have met 15 guys today that all told me they are on the Sorka board. So if it's not BS and they are really on the Sorka board, what that's telling you is the Sorka board has expanded. So when Jeremy said they are listening, they have to be. They're growing and listening to the public. So I really do think Leafs are going to be a thing and changes will come. I mean,
I'm really looking forward to that. Really,
the board's gotten that big. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You know, I've been really wanting to host some Leaf Spring only, or at least Leaf Spring targeted competitions here locally. We have some, like, I feel extremely lucky to live 15 minutes away from 3 like mind-blowing crawl spots, one of them being Cap Santa and Anacortes, Washington. It's just beautiful out there. And so, you know, to be able to have a Leaf Spring or Class 0 at least targeted, like an overland style Sorka endorsed rule set would be awesome. Because, like, for what it is, I do really like Sorka. It's strictly the living rule set idea where you could be halfway through a comp season or even just starting a comp season, build a truck, and then all of a sudden it doesn't qualify because of something that, you know, it's just like, at least just update it once a year, right?
Yes.
But I do like having a Sorka because it levels the playing field. Everyone kind of follows the same rule set, but ever since the living rule set came out, now all of my local groups, which there are 4 big local groups here, now they're all like completely different. I can't build a truck for each group. One of them uses Sorka 2017 December 23rd rule sets, and the other is Sorka Light, and then the other is it doesn't even use scale points; they're time-based only. And so it's like, you know, if they took away the living rule set, I'm sure they would come back with a lot more respect. I think, at least locally in my area.
Yeah, I think that resonates because a lot of people, I hear that from a lot of people. Like, hey, I need to build a truck for a season,
Right?
And it'll take me a season to learn that truck to get to finals or something. Like, you grow with it, the knowledge and the use. And if you have me changing it willy-nilly to comply, it'll be a basket case by the end because it's been hacked, you know, so many times to be compliant. So just, you know, make a rule set, deploy a rule set October with an effective date of 1 January. But the current rule set still is in effect all the way through December. Like something like that along those lines is more stable for everyone. And it gives reaction time to understand and build for the next season.
Here's a thought. You can keep the living rule set, right? But you release these rules mid-season for the next season. So you can keep making the changes as you see fit and as the issues come up. Because I can imagine that part of the frustration is you go through a whole season and have all of these fires, and then you got to put them all out in one giant session, right? So
yeah, the living rules, I see what you're saying. The living
Right.
rules should be modified
ahead of time. You have that time to prepare. You know the rules coming, but you can still run your truck for the season, have fun, you know?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking forward to change. And I hope that they're doing it well. I really do. Because a Class 0, you know, that's where my heart would be at. Like you said, scale overlanding, adventure performance trail with legitimate no shit scale trucks. And Leaf Springs are definitely a scale item that have been around forever and still in use. So it's necessary if the hobby's going to continue to grow and people are going to continue to gather to play with trucks at the same time and look at what other people are doing. The innovation from the scale community is what is what the big companies see at these events like Axial Fest, and they put that into their next production run.
Right.
Like the CJ7 with a working cooler in the center of the console between the seats. Like, we know where that came from. You saw it somewhere. It wasn't an original thought from a designer. Like, they're trying to incorporate scale from the builder perspective into productions. So it's, they need to see that.
Yeah.
And what better way than to gather a bunch of people with cool scale trucks?
Very.
Alrighty, I think we took it over the limit. I'm gonna
Yeah,
send
Snoop
us.
Fox.
It's late. Leif, I can't thank you enough, my friend. Merchant Metal Fab. Is that where we're telling people to go? Is it?
Yes. It's
Merchant-
super simple. Merchantmetalfab.com. Merchant Metal Fab LLC is my Facebook. Merchant Metal Fab on TikTok. It's because it's such a unique thing. I was able to get the first to Merchant Metal Fab on everything. So just type it in anywhere.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, we've got Beat the Creek coming up this week. It's a busy week. We're gonna send you away, Leif. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, guys. It was a joy.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a great guy. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we did that. Give you guys a chance to geek out in the Leaf world, freak out and geek out. I did take one silly cheesy plug. I've got to do this before we bail out. I pulled up a Beat the Creek video. No, not video. I said that wrong. Hang on. I pulled up a Beat the Creek image. I just wanted to remind everybody, it is fair. Bring It 25 is the promo code that we are running. It is good until the end of the month, till May 1st. The promo code is still live. Where did it go? I'm lost here, Jeremy. I'm totally lost. Share screen, window. Here it is. All I'm doing, it's kind of weak. It's lame, but pro level, Bring It 25, the Beat the Creek bag. That's the one heading to Beat the Creek. It's one of the versions available. We got them available. If you don't find the one that you want available, guess what? Send us a DM, slide into the DMs. That's what we're here for. I deal with more people on the phone on a daily now, kind of having to guide them through the process, talk them through what they need. We don't mind. We'll find what you need. We will make sure we kind of going shopping for a new car. We will get you fitted in a backpack that speaks to you. Not gonna be able to test drive it with me, but we're close enough to a test drive. We're gonna get you fitted for a bag that speaks to you. You have a busy week, Jeremy. Where are you heading and when are you heading? I know you're heading. Worded that wrong. You're heading to Beat the Creek. When are you heading?
Leaving midweek, and I'm hauling a lot of stuff for a lot of different people. I got to go pick up some stuff tomorrow to take down for Metal Masher, and I got some other client stuff that I got to do. I'm still printing stuff for vendors at Beat the Creek. So I'm still, and those are like display items that they ordered.
I was gonna say the one time you had stuff set up for Reef, like new display setups and stuff.
I don't know if he wants me to show it, but I got display setups for him.
Bingo. That's awesome.
I picked the black one so it wouldn't show up, just in case he didn't want me to show it. But
okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
Doing the work. But I have all the adapters for all the Reef's transmissions into the different models for the XBT3 transmission. They'll be available at his booth for that. I have the stuff to take to Kirby. I still got to box and label all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's, I got a busy couple days ahead of me.
I can't believe it's here. Honestly, it felt like it was an eternity away, and just like that, it's here.
For an event that I originally wasn't planning to go to.
You know anything about the other? Right? No, because full disclosure, if we rewind the clock about 4 months ago, my exact words were,
I wasn't going.
Thank you. At least you said it. There is another event on the 3rd. Do you know the one up there in Vermont, I believe, or is it or somewhere in the Northeast? I was talking to the guys from Long Island, New York. They were doing some kind of a national Go Scale Day event. So for anybody not going to Beat the Creek, if you're near the Northeast, there is if you find Long Island Scalers or something, I think was the club, they were putting together something big. I was shocked to hear it was on the 3rd. Maybe somebody will jump in here and tell me who it was.
I do not have time for morning boating, but he said that there will be walking tacos.
He's bribing me. He's bribing. Oh man, win me over with the taco. All right, Jeremy, you've got a busy week.
Yep.
I want you to travel safely, all that good stuff. I'll call you tomorrow. Maybe we can work out logistics.
Yeah.
At least on site, helping get in touch with people. I'll be in touch.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you, everyone. Go find Leif. You know where to find him. He told you where to find him. Everybody else going to Beat the Creek. Travel safely. We'll see you on the next round.
See you there.
I'm going to just close this out with a hard close because I can't find the. I'm just going to pull the cord. Pull the record. I wait.
No explosions.
Last week when Matt was on here, maybe I'm not pointing fingers at you, Jeremy, but when Matt was here, I felt like I was a little bit more organized. I had a closing one.
I don't know how to react to that.
I don't know either. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Matt keeps you under control.
Maybe. Was that it? Keeps you on the leash. I have a transition. I have a close. We're going to show this one.